Hit me!
Episode 413.
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
Activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys are rock.
And now, here's Will.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Yeah, it is. Darn tootin', man. Radio's boring. Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will. I am alone tonight. I will not tell a lie. I'm alone tonight. Trent unfortunately had a very, very nasty thing happen. The kind of thing you don't really want to have happen. And I'm bummed for him. Especially since, obviously it's a tech issue and we'd love to talk about it, and I could talk about it in his absence. But the long story short is he had a very large disk array that he was using, and the motherboard for that network accessible server for storage, or network accessible storage, it died. It died on him. You know what I'm saying? And according to him, I think the technology was from 2012, and he's trying to recover footage now. So as a setup as a RAID, that means that, the data's kind of spread across many drives, multiple drives writing at once. Can you recover from a single drive? I don't know. I've never done that. Oh, my system's 51 days out of date. That's nice. You can check out that thing. By the way, if you're seeing me on TikTok, hi everybody, welcome. I have a podcast. Guess you didn't know. Most people don't, and I'm not surprised, because why would I tell anybody to actually tune in and watch me, right? Sorry. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Trent has data loss. Tony's not available, and here I am. But we're also this month is long in the tooth, man. Today is the 23rd of October, for gosh sakes, and there hasn't been a new NetHeads in over a month. So I figured, you know what? To hell with it. It's time. Let's do this. We're just going to sit down and we're going to talk. We're going to have a little fireside chat, a little talkie-walkie with you and me, with yous guys and me's guys. We're going to talk. We're going to have words. What are we going to talk about? Well, the good news is if you listen to the audio-only version of the podcast and you don't like it when I go into the segment we like to call
What is my purpose?
Where I show people the 3D printed objects that Trent, usually, maybe Tony if he was around, but I showed the 3D printed objects that I've made, and my co-host is supposed to guess what is its purpose, hence the title of the segment.
What is my purpose?
But that's not going to happen tonight because it's just me. I know what I printed and I know why I printed it. So I don't need help on that. Excuse me for just a quick second. I am attempting to jump into my own live, but in order to do that, I have to jump into my other account, I believe. If I don't, I will jam things up something fierce. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. And I apologize for doing all of this on the air. However, when you expect somebody else to be with you, then you have to improvise. You have to play it by ear. You have to, as some people call it, wing it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm winging it the best I can tonight. Can I get into my own live? I've never tried. Maybe it's not even going to TikTok. You know what I mean? Oh, TikTok Live Monitor. Hold on a second. It appears there's something I can click on. Let me do that. Okay, everything's loaded now. Everybody loves it when you're trying to do this kind of thing. When you're actually talking to people, or you're muttering to yourself while you're setting things up when you should have been set up all along. So for that, I apologize. But anyway, guys, welcome. Hello. Hi. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So, a lot has gone on since the last time we sat down to do this. What, for example, have we done? Well, obviously, last week, 2 weeks ago, last week was the recovery week. This week is the regular week. So, meaning the week prior, the week of, when was I? I'm going to say the week of October. I'm just going to play it by ear here, and I'm going to say, as I look at the calendar, the week of October 6th. And why was that a big week? One, we got the season finale of Peacemaker, which I'd love to talk about, but I'm not sure that the sound of one guy talking is really poignant for this. The other thing, hey, Tina Rocks, what's up? If you don't watch Peacemaker, you don't get a lot of information on it, but I look forward to speaking to that. But the other big thing that happened actually was on the 10th and 11th of 12th of October. I was once again not just in attendance. No. I was working for that Kevin Smith's Chronicon 2025 is what I'm calling it. They were calling it Chronicon 2. And in the photo, I'm wearing the Chronicon 2 shirt for this episode. But they were calling it Chronicon 2. I refer to it more as Chronicon 2025, and the optimistic approach of hoping that we do get to see, another Chronicon year after year. Get to a point where we're celebrating a decade of Chronicon, right? Who knows? So that happened, and that really took up the majority of my life. Probably produced the most anxiety leading up to it in the weeks that preceded it. And I say that because I didn't sleep very well. I did not sleep well at all. And I think the reason is because there was just so much on my mind. If you go back to this time last year, we did an episode of NetHeads where I was basically recounting what happened at the very first Chronicon. And to say that it was an audio nightmare would be kind, right? Hello, Michelle. How are you? Good to see you. Glad you're joining me. Trent had a catastrophe. Tony's not available, so here we are. So the year prior, if you listen to last year's episode of NetHeads around this time, or you watch it, what you will see is me recounting one of the most hellacious, terrible audio things that I had to attempt to not recover from because I wasn't in control of it, but I had to put lipstick on a pig for all the end products, right? It wasn't good. And let me first tell you what I have learned more of now. There was a certain point I was not aware where the people that were running Chronicon, because Chronicon is a joint venture between Kevin Smith's Smodco and the people behind, let me get this right, Astronomicon. So it was a joint venture. They're from the Michigan area, or they're from Michigan. The con is in Chicago. So, it's a little bit of a drive, but they were able to get there. And, Mark Lamb also wasn't there, but from the audience response, it wasn't, for the last episode. No, look, I will say that in putting lipstick on a pig, we did get terrible audio, but great visuals for +1 that happened. And it was also just adorable because they were reduced down to one, I don't want to say working microphone because the audio quality was terrible, but it was one microphone. Hey, Josh, what's up, man? So, in that respect, it was cute. It was redeemable. But that first night, the audio just fell apart, which is really bad because I think the first night is also the night of karaoke afterwards, VIP party and karaoke at the end. So having non-working microphones is really problematic. And in this case, this was the vendor, the not provided by the hotel, but recommended and preferred by the hotel where we were at, which I can't remember the name of it. Might be the Hilton O'Hare. It's an airport near O'Hare. You know what? Go to chroniconforreal.com and you can see where it was. And these guys, I don't want to say they weren't affected by the issue, but they weren't exactly overwhelmingly informative about what the issue was. To say they might not have had a clue could be generous. And so this year I had a lot of anxiety going in. There were also times where they sent me a bad mix or no audio feed whatsoever to the recorder. and it wasn't something that was easy to recover from. It was painful. So that was probably why I had a lot of anxiety and why I was not driven per se to relax before going out to Chicago. Now, there was another reason too. And if you'll excuse me for just a moment, I can show you something. Not what you think. Be cool. I'm going to... Here we go. Lift this off of here, hopefully. Unplug this cable. So I went loaded for bear. Last year when I was running video at Chronicon, I was just using the same camera that I'm using here right now, which honestly speaking is a Rebel EOS DSLR. Not exactly the best for shooting. Hey, Brad, what's up, man? By the way, if you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. One of the easiest is go to either TikTok or to YouTube to watch the video and interact in the chat. I've got both up and I'm both visible, so yay. So last year I was using the EOS Rebel, not great. I got to tell you too, when a camera does not provide you just to press a button to white balance, that's troubling. I actually had to take a picture and then use white balance based on that picture, and then the color would correct. So not good. So instead of screwing around, I got myself a full broadcast quality camera. This is the Panasonic AG CX350. And I'll tell you the reason why I know that number so damn well. It's because I bought this camera used, okay? It's got 500 to 700 hours on it, which made it available for a steal for a really great price. And when you look at it, you know, we have an area that you can attach a camera or a microphone mount. You can run 2 XLR sources into it to source audio while still capturing audio off of the camera, which is nice. Sometimes that ambient room audio may not be the best, but when you have nothing, it's something that's beneficial, right? So had this camera, which, by the way, much to my same point, there's the auto white balance button right there. You want to get a good picture where things don't look blue, you go right there. And so I had this all set up, but anxiety first started here. And the reason why it started here is because, as I said, I bought it used. The first camera that showed up in a little condition we like to call DOA. Do we like for it to be DOA? No, we do not. Because usually if you do buy a camcorder, a video camcorder, you expect to be able to, I don't know, capture video. But when there is no video being produced by the camera, that's a problem. So that was another reason why I had some stress, because I admit, look, when I bought the camera on September 19th, I thought I was well enough in advance of October 9th, which is the day that I would be flying into Chicago. So I immediately clocked that there was an issue, called them the Monday. It arrived like on a Saturday, called them that Monday, and I'm like, hey guys, we got a problem. There's no video in the video camera you sold me. I might need something else. Can we do something else? So they said, yeah, send the camera back and we'll take a look at it. And I'm like, great, I need it back. I need a camera back before the 9th. So if this camera isn't going to work, if it's going to be repaired, I'm going to need a different camera. You have another one, so let's say 500 to 700 hours. I'm going to need that one. Okay. I thought it was very clear. I thought it was very detailed. And I'm not going to name the business because it sounds like I'm disparaging them. I'm not. They really came through. And the reason why they did is because once I got them on the phone and clarified everything, because they received the camera like, yep, there's some issue here. It's got to go off to repair. I'm like, great. I just bought this. I don't need it repaired. I need one that works. I need a working camera. Very simple. Need a working camera. To which they finally said, hey, okay, we get it. Don't worry. We'll ship one out. And that was on Thursday, October 2nd. Literally 6 days before the last day I can receive it, or 5 technically, because, well, before. So 6 days before I have to fly out. Not good. Bit unnerving. Also, I have not had good experience with FedEx ground. But it just so happens that extra day really, really paid off in the fact that Saturday is an operative day, because it did arrive on Tuesday. And I had camera picture quality. Wonderful. I'm thrilled. No more reason to stress. Until I had ordered a porta-brace bag to carry said camcorder. All right. It's if you look up the Panasonic AG CX350 new or the comparable, they're not cheap, right? So you want these to be protected. And because I'm traveling to Chicago with them, I need it to be carry-on. Ordered a porta-brace bag for the camera. Figured I would jam my clothes into my backpack. We would be going very minimal. I would be taking literally 2 pairs of pants on this trip and enough clothing to cover myself for the trip. That's it. If I had spilled on a shirt, thank goodness the con had given me a t-shirt and a work shirt, because if they didn't, I'd have been hosed. If I had spilled on any of my clothing, which thankfully I did not. So the bag didn't show it up. And this is the part where I'm really bummed that Trent's not here, because I really wanted to get his feedback on this, and I really don't want to be repeating myself again later, but so be it. So I've ran into a situation. The camera arrives on Tuesday. The bag that I had was not adequate. Any of the bags I had on hand were not adequate. The porta-brace bag was not coming in time. So now I'm on Tuesday, mind you, flying out 7 a.m. Thursday. That means I need a solution Wednesday. Thankfully, I figured this issue out at least by Tuesday. And so what was I going to do? How am I going to transport this thing? I need it to be carry-on. I am not trusting a camera checked into luggage. I am not trusting the fact that it can't get lost by the airport. I wish to have it in hand the entire time. And I will admit, having been a person that did event videography in the late 90s and early 2000s, well, no, actually, it was just the mid and late 90s. Let's just say the 90s. I hate even saying the date, but oh well. Back in the day, I used to unload my car, and I would carry 2 tripods, 2 cameras, and at least one of the 2 things in my kit. All of that at once. But in the 90s, I was in my 20s. Now that I'm in my 50s, hate to admit that too, I have to say, I can't carry the same amount of crap anymore. No. But here was my solution. And I thought it was a good one, and it's probably going to change the way I travel. Because this bag here, I don't know what off-brand name it is, but as you can see, it's roughly the same size of a rollaway carry-on. And because it has side buckles, I was able to put the tripod in the bag in here. Mind you, the tripod that I bought specifically to be able to fit into carry-on luggage. So I didn't exactly have the world's tallest tripod, but I had a tripod. So I was able to, it wasn't able to fit in the bag with the stuff, because my solution, I use packing cubes. So my solution for protecting the camera was that I would be using packing cubes. I would pack my laundry into the packing cubes around the camera for protection, which thankfully it worked. And when the tripod was here, I was able to also buckle in through the handle to make sure it wouldn't fly away or fall out. And I have to say, this bag worked remarkably. It can be worn as a shoulder-bound one. It can be, you know what, link in bio later, right? But also the back zips up and rolls and Velcros to the top, and it becomes a backpack, including with a support belt, which I probably should have used. And it was an amazing solution that could arrive overnight. This was the best I could do overnight. And now I'm not kidding. I was able to fit so much stuff into this that I think when I travel in the future for business, hey, Miranda, I think that I'm going to potentially just see how much I can fit into this first, because there's even an area for like my laptop, for my iPad. And, you know, once I'm at the airport, take the iPad out, and I now have nothing to worry about. And then I don't have to jam any shit under the front seat in front of me, right? So this was my solution. So getting back to the audio at the con in the panel room, because essentially I was working in the panel room. It's the whole reason why I was there, right? Make sure we're getting video, make sure we're getting audio, content, baby. For those of us for those of you just joining now, I am speaking to the fact that I was running the panel room at Kevin Smith's Chronicon from October 10th to the 12th. And it just so happens that we had a lot of conversations going into this one about the audio, given what happened, given that the vendor the last time, for lack of a better term, shit the bed, okay? So what were we going to do? And it just so happens that the guys that run Astronomicon are also involved with the band Twisted. So what they did is the wonderful guy named Fritz that works for the guys. And he said, look, let's rent the equipment we need from this place. We'll bring that, and then we'll also bring some of our equipment so we've got backups. We're covered. Like, okay, sounds good. When I saw the gear getting unloaded and put up on Thursday night, because I flew out at 7 a.m., landed like 1:30-ish local time in Chicago, which, by the way, didn't exactly see a war-torn area when I landed, just saying. So I get to the venue, I go up to the room, I'm relaxing, I start watching Peacemaker, because I know that the Peacemaker season finale is going to be airing at 8 o'clock at the time where I'm at, because it's on, wait, is that math right? Yes. It's 8 o'clock because it's 6 o'clock here and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. And I wasn't going to miss the Peacemaker finale. And as a matter of fact, I got so comfortable in my room with my snacks and everything else and my iPad. Somehow I magically guessed the exact right time to start the Peacemaker finale, or to start Peacemaker season 2, so that it literally led right up to the Peacemaker finale. And I needed to watch finale knowing I would be downstairs at 9 o'clock, because that would be an hour after the guys that would be working the panel room with me and bringing all the equipment would show up. So I watched Peacemaker finale, loved it, stick a pin in that, we'll come back to it. I go downstairs, and when I see what I see, I think you could audibly hear my anus loosening. In other words, I was probably really tightened up, and I instantly relaxed in a way that I can't adequately describe. And to say that I lost sleep going up to this is an understatement. And to say that I slept the first night there, based on what I had seen, knowing there is no way audio is going to be messed up on this one. There is just no way. Wayne, Fritz, Jimmy, all great guys. It came through wonderfully. There are only two things we missed in planning for the panel room. The first was lighting for the talent on stage, because that room is amber colored, man. The lights are filtering through crystals. They've already gone with a sunlight color. You run them through those things, and this stuff looks like everything brown. Just amber waves of grain everywhere. Terrible room to try and get a natural color out of. And then coupled with the fact that they had these really cool LED panels. You know, have you seen the ones where you can it's like a smaller LED panel to make up a big LED screen? That's what this was. That's what they had. And they had one on either side, and they had one behind the talent to copy. Like if you look at Comic-Con and you see their logo, and then a lighter version of the logo, and then the logo again. You also see them at movie premieres, right? It's called a step and repeat. And instead of having a step and repeat, they had the screen behind them. Great in concept, but backlighting the talent without having front light on the talent makes dark talent. Did the best we could, all things considered. Saw it and said, F it. The thing I've said many, many times had to be said again, which is, F it, I'll fix it in post, which I did as best I could. So we didn't think of lighting on the talent. And what was the other thing we didn't think of? Oh, we didn't think to test when we were running video to the monitors, or having to play video, or when we were playing house audio, what would that sound like? And I admit there was a ground loop buzz. Oh well, ground loop buzz. If that's the worst problem I had, I'm sitting pretty. And I was so relaxed after seeing all this. I kid you not. I fell asleep at 12:30 a.m. I woke up at 12:30 p.m., which, believe me, was fine. The con wasn't starting till 4. I had plenty of time to set my crap up. But man, I had such a level of confidence going into this panel room for this con. I just, it was amazing, and I'm so thankful. I was so relaxed, and it went off without a hitch. The general vibe, I feel like we were close, maybe a little under last year's numbers, which is to be expected, given everything in the press about Chicago at the time. I think a lot of people are really making sure that things fit into their budgets. So they got to evaluate their budget. So they're making last minute purchases, right? Last minute decisions. So some of that. And I was told we did see a swell in that last week. So it wasn't starting until 4. I got there. And I have to say, I think all of the things were a bit more balanced when it came to like VIP signatures, VIP photographs, and the like. It went a lot smoother. And Mark Lamb is pointing out in the chat, well, hey, also don't forget, New York Comic Con was happening the same weekend. Not exactly the thing you want to be competing against, because I guarantee you almost everybody I knew on the East Coast was going to New York Comic Con. They were not coming to Kevin Smith's Chronicon. But even with that competition, we did really well. And I think things were much more balanced. I really loved in the exhibit hall. I think we had a wider variety and greater choices in the realm of vendors. And I'm hoping that they were able to do good business. I got to meet Bill Morrison. He signed a comic book that I'm going to be sending to Buddy the Elf because he really wanted it. And an event-specific cover, right? A special event cover for Jay and Silent Bob Meet Archie. Which, of course, if you caught us interviewing Robert, we got to see him do one of the live readings, which also, if you want to see any of the things that I'm about to talk about, if you're a member of that Kevin Smith Club at the Mallrat level or above, all of the panel audio, all of the panel video is available to you. You can see it all. So every one of the panels we captured, we produced. Now, what were the panels? I'll tell you. Oh, Dreamforce in San Francisco the following days. Whoa. That's rough, bro. Yeah, that's some competition right there. So let me just give you a quick rundown of what the panels were. The very first one was live script reading the entire issue of Jay and Silent Bob Meet Archie, followed by Edumacation panel, which we haven't seen since the cruise, the View Askew cruise, which there's another one happening in February, if you're into that kind of thing. The following day, we kicked it off with Vegan Abattoir, which is what Kevin Smith and Harley Quinn Smith's podcast. They were doing beardless, stickless meat. Now they're going to Vegan Abattoir. They're choosing a lane. It's veganism. You're hearing them talk. You're seeing cool vegan food. It's wonderful. So it kicked off with Vegan Abattoir. Then there was a speed painting event. I can't remember the name of the artist, but it's crazy. He does all of these paintings in under, I think, 5 minutes. And he has to do them upside down. That's how his brain is wired. That's how he does this. He turns it over. There's the picture. Oh my gosh. I can't even comprehend that. The real panels after that, we had Comic Book Ben, Michael Rooker, 30 Years of Mallrats, which was a Mallrat panel that featured Brian O'Halloran, Jeremy London, who I got to ride from the airport with. They came to pick me up, and Jeremy London was coming in 20 minutes later. Yeah, I'll stick around and wait for him. We also had on the panel Renee Humphrey, who played Trish the Dish. Joey Lauren Adams, is that her name? I always mess her name up. Hopefully that's right. Who else was there on that panel? Jason Lee, naturally. And I'm running out of people, but I know that they were there. Yeah. And then, Ethan Suplee was also on the panel. Which it was also very interesting this con because they got Jason Lee to come and Ethan Suplee was here. So then they also invited Jamie Presley. So that way fans of My Name is Earl could also get a My Name is Earl photograph, or you can get a signature from the 3 people that were there that were also on My Name is Earl. So there was that panel, which was great. And then the night ended off with a ticketed event, which was an evening with Kevin Smith. Audience Q&A, real fun. I got to run around like I was on the Phil Donahue show. Really old reference. If you don't know what I'm talking about, not surprised. And so I was running around with the microphone while people are answering questions, mainly because I wanted to make sure the audio got on the recording. And let me go through all the panels. Sunday morning, we started off with Plus One, which is a podcast that Kevin Smith does with his wife, Jen Schwalbach. What else the panels weren't really that strong or plentiful that day. So there was that one, which led into Diary of a Man-Child with Jason Mewes, which led into View Askew Trivia, run by Six Man, the people that they partner for the Cruise Askew. And then we capped it all off with Fat Man Beyond. Now, both days there were also special events that happened in the panel room. The first day we did a That Kevin Smith Club photograph. So it was like a get-together, a meeting, a meet and greet kind of thing where all the members of That Kevin Smith Club, which if you don't know what that is, go to thatkevinsmithclub.com for more info. They all got to meet. And if you went to the con and you were a member of That Kevin Smith Club, last year we got exclusive badges, which were done up to go with the logo. And I admit they were all black and they weren't as cool as this one that club members got this year, exclusive badge that they could wear at the con. And for all the things they were buying, an exclusive tote bag they also got, which you can see are like silhouettes of many of almost all of the guests that were there, and then some. And this is not a low quality bag, guys. This thing's even got a zipper. This is a good bag. I'm gonna take this with some. For some grocery shopping and stuff. And by the way, Mark Lamb, this one's yours. Using yours as the demo. Thank you. So that Kevin Smith members got this. We finished off the con with Fat Man Beyond. And the other interesting perk that happened for members of that Kevin Smith Club that they weren't expecting, and I didn't ask anybody if I could do, because I was the person running the panel room and capturing video, I could also run video out from my camera into my laptop, ran it into OBS, and what did I do? I streamed all 3 days of the panels for that Kevin Smith Club members. So the people that couldn't show up, I ran exclusive unlisted streams for them to be part of the con. And again, I asked for forgiveness, not permission. Thankfully, backstage, I told Kevin I was doing it, and he thought it was a great idea. So, wonderful. So we've got all that unique content done. And one thing I will have to say, that I have to apologize to every person that went to the con and every person that paid for a photo. I don't have it to show, it's over there, but I had an all access badge, and I did not realize just how much access all access got me, because there were special event photographs that were occurring. You know, it's like My Name is Earl photographs, Chasing Amy photographs, Blunt Man and Chronic, Jay and Silent Bob, all of the Mallrats that were present, etc., etc., etc. I had no idea my all access pass got me free reign to walk into that damn line. I found this out approximately 30 seconds before they called the Mallrats cast photographs, so I didn't get that. But what I did get, and the first night I thought I was being sly. My dumbass thought I was being sly. They're walking around counting people, scanning things, and walking by me, and I think I'm lucky? No, I'm a clueless idiot. But I did get photographs. The first one I got was me with Blunt Man and Chronic. And then on day 2, even though I missed the Mallrats, I got Jay and Silent Bob with Brody himself, Jason Lee. So I was able to get those for myself. My memento for the event. I really would have loved to have gotten all the Mallrats, though. I really would have. I'm really bummed that I didn't. C'est la vie, right? Such is life. So that was basically the Chronicon experience. Like I said, I got in Thursday, and then I had a down day, which is the kind of thing you really want to do. You want to get in early, you want to rest up, you want to be ready for the days to come. I did discover there was an 8 o'clock flight out of Chicago, and the con wrapped up like between 5 and 6. So I was able to hop on a plane and fly home. And since I was gaining back 2 hours, I landed sometime between 10:30 and 11. It was back home by around 1 o'clock after I got to my car. And by the way, if you ever fly out of the San Francisco, or if you ever fly out of the Sacramento airport, you're lucky. It is a wonderful airport. If you have it as an option, I live in a place where it's equidistant for me to go to San Francisco International or Sacramento International. I will choose Sacramento every time. Why? Parking is so cheap there. There are no alternative lots for parking. Nobody needs them. Nobody wants them. They don't. It doesn't have to be. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's a low key airport. You know what I mean? TSA is never really terribly backed up. Well, I should say it wasn't. I made sure to thank all of our TSA people that were there. Thank them very much for being there for us since they weren't getting paid. And that was the other thing that I was really worried about was this going to interfere in any of the flying stuff? Because they had a temporary grounding in Chicago, for example, and a grounding of flights going to Chicago was not a good scene. So I was worried. I was concerned. I had issues. Thankfully, went off without a hitch. Got to sleep in my own bed Sunday night. Life was good. And overall, it was a really fun con. Seriously speaking, and it sounds like we're going to be doing it again next year. We just might end up having to do it sooner in the year because there's something going on at the hotel that's already booked for the time slot we would have gone into. But I'm okay if it's like summerish or what. How does it compare to Oakland Airport? Well, Oakland Airport is incredibly fast and convenient if you're flying Southwest. Their TSA is tight. That's Terminal 2. Terminal 1's TSA, not as smooth for the other airports, and I couldn't get a direct flight out of Oakland to there. I'm only 45 minutes from Oakland, so that theoretically could be a shorter drive depending on where the traffic is. Next year, 20 years of Clerks 2. That's right. Each one of the years of Chronicon have been themed so far. We had, the first year was essentially Clerks-ish. That's what the challenge coin is. This one was Mallrats. Next year will be 20 years of Clerks 2. And then the big one after that would be, I'm guessing, 30 years of Chasing Amy if we get a year 4. And the goal is to hopefully get Ben Affleck for that one. So that's not really exclusive. I'm sure it's information that went around from everybody that was at the con, but I don't think that's been public. Probably shouldn't have said it. Oh well. You know what? It's about time I finally said something dumb that loses me this gig. Yeah. So anyway, that was my Chronicon experience. It was a wonderful time. Saw a lot of wonderful people. Got to talk to lots of folks. It is always great when I get to go there because I am a Z grade celebrity. There, I guess is the best way to put it. Anyone that's a member of that Kevin Smith Club knows who I am. So, I temporarily get to be. Last year, I signed a few things. This year, nothing. That's fine. It's okay. I'm humble. I got to do a lot of announcing. I announced a lot of the panels in, which I'm happy about. Next year, I'm going to shoot for announcing and I'm going to shoot for moderating because I would much prefer to moderate these things because hey man, get that extra coin, right? Plus, I got to take another job away from Ming Chen. That sounds wrong. Context. Anyway, that was the Chronicon recap, guys. That's it. That's done. It's over. Now, we got to move into the next category I was going to talk about. It's going to be the last category I probably talk about. Nope, not true. There'll be one more. Let's get adorned accordingly as we slip into my thoughts on the Peacemaker Season 2 finale. Overall, I thought it was a great... Hey, Kat. I thought it was a great season. I thought the second season of Peacemaker had better balance, a more engaging story than we did with season 1. Obviously, John Cena has really developed as an actor, so I really loved that. I would say there were no dull episodes. The only thing I will say is that I think a few episodes could have been condensed into 2 episodes becoming 1 episode. And that's my only complaint, I think, for the whole season. I thought that it was an amazing story. Spoilers, if you weren't aware. The long story about this is the coming off of Superman and the use of a pocket universe and portals gives Argus an excuse to kind of come after Peacemaker because he has the quantum unfolding chamber within the, not next year, Miranda, the year after. In season 1, we were introduced to the quantum unfolding chamber, the QEUC, which was an area that at the time we thought Peacemaker's dad had invented. It's where all of his helmet tech was stored. It's where Peacemaker's dad's white dragon costume was, etc. But you could see there was more there. And James Gunn totally ran with this idea after everything we saw in Superman 2025. And the quantum unfolding chamber became a pivot point for this series because Peacemaker accidentally stumbles across an alternative universe to ours, where for him, everything is better, right? And the fun thing about it was the reveal that everyone saw coming. For me, it was the moment that we realized Peacemaker's dad was a good and different person. And when I realized, too, that they were surprised to see Peacemaker, Chris, there at the time because they thought he was in Bloodhaven. And the moment he said Bloodhaven, I said, that is too German. This is going to be Earth X. And lo and behold, as we got into the series, we did discover it was Earth X. And the thing that I love about this, from a creative standpoint, is that Peacemaker is probably one of the only characters that they could utilize in the MCU that this story works for, because he completely misses the fact that this is an Earth where the Nazis won World War II. And why does he miss that? Because in his world, he was raised by a piece of crap, neo-Nazi, extreme racist. So a lack of people of color in his world would not be something he would notice because of how he was raised. Probably a lot of the rhetoric that was used around him, he wouldn't have noticed. There were some obvious gags about this that alluded to the fact of why didn't he notice this? And that was fun. The only thing I will say is that kind of reveal and pivot, it was revealed in one episode, and we were resolved with that aspect of the story by the end. And then we switched to the quantum unfolding chamber as a whole, now that Argus gets their hands on the technology. Again, I thought this had far more character development than we were given in the first season. I thought that the story was a lot more engaging. I really think it gave John Cena a lot of chance to kind of spread his acting wings, explore some new things. Really, I did not expect this level of acting to come out of John Cena for this one. And then I think finally, my last thought, especially about the way that it ended. My only thing is I was kind of disappointed to see that, and I won't go into details about it. They did say that this leads into Superman, or the next Superman movie, Man of Tomorrow. Things that we see here kind of are pivot points. But just as Peacemaker finally has kind of redeemed himself, because he was really obviously he was more of an anti-hero. We met him in Suicide Squad. He was in jail. And in the first episode of Peacemaker, he's said, "Oh, you're that racist villain." So, obviously not a great guy, wasn't doing great things. But not a good person. And through the series, the two season series of Peacemaker, we really saw him develop as an individual. He becomes less of a buffoon. He's clearly working on himself, trying to make himself better, right? And that really came through. So it was a real bummer for me to see that after it seems like he's really worked through some stuff and he's done some good things, and finally his life might be in a place we would all consider to be good. He's kind of taken out of his own life. And yes, it relates to the quantum unfolding chamber. I'm sure you've heard about the salvation reveal. So, it was a bit of a bummer. It bummed me out a little bit. But I had a really good time with Peacemaker season 2 this year. I really will be bummed if we don't get, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind continuing to see Peacemaker in the movies as well. Chris Smith as a character has developed amazingly. But, my biggest concern is kind of what we saw from the MCU, where there wasn't exactly a great job translating that which was on streaming / television into film. And they sort of did that a little bit. I mean, Peacemaker is probably an exception. The character started out in film, transitioned to streaming, showed up again in film in Superman, back on streaming. So, that's a natural progression. Other characters, though, not so much. So will we see anybody that wasn't a unique character to the Peacemaker television show when we get future DCU offerings? Not sure. We just got to wait and find out. But, do me a favor, throw me something in the comments, send an email, netheadsonair@gmail.com or what have you. I'd like to hear your thoughts about Peacemaker season 2 as well. Keep those in mind. But really, that's about the recap, which is good because, man, did I talk way more than I did anticipate talking about Chronicon. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I had so much more planned, more interactive stuff with Trent and the like, but not going to happen. Now, however, we can lose this. By the way, today is the day I finally got to size this thing up. In case you're wondering about the construction, this prints as 2 pieces, right? It prints as this piece. I have a multicolor printer, so I found a similar teal, and I had it print that out, which it created a lot of waste, and it made this take like 24 plus hours to print. Just the front side, because the entire back dome you see here, that's a separate piece. It's a Do 3D model. However, I will say too that I'm kind of shocked that they went with the design they did, that there's no lip holding this back piece on. You're just meant to print and connect them. And like this right now is being held together by crazy glue, which is not my preferred method for bonding, so it does require more work. If you're wondering why it's not a mirrored finish, it's because I was just trying to get a helmet done before the season finale of Peacemaker so I could do some content about Peacemaker. And I did not have time to do anything else. Like, I had to apply a little heat so I could flange these pieces down, and I had to extend the back, bow it out a little bit so it would fit a bit more. So that, again, that's a Do 3D model, but I'm sure you can find many others. And the reason why it's not the chrome finish is because I'm more into practical prints. I don't want to be spending a lot of time sanding. And so that's why my Peacemaker helmet looks like this, which I'm okay with because eventually it's just going to hang on the wall behind me. I did have to include some airsoft helmet padding in the top to get it to sit right. That seems to be a constant with helmets now. So we did do that. And yeah, I'm just surprised there's not a little bit of a lip on this piece for easier attaching, because all of the other Do 3D models, you know, they really kind of focus on it's a multi-piece print that's held together with magnets. And, you know, I'm not sure magnets had an appropriate place here, but I'm also kind of shocked that even though I'm using their files, maybe it's because I went between 2 different printers. I'm not sure if I did or not, but the spacing doesn't quite fit right either. There's a little bit of a gap there. All of these things can be corrected, but it's like, really, what more are you going to do with this? Yes, I did 3D print a Peacemaker chest plate. Yes, I could attach it to a red t-shirt, right? I could do that. I could. Am I going to? Probably not. I don't think so. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the Peacemaker 2 season finale. Will it be a series finale? We don't know. Last thing I got to talk about. I did not anticipate this having as much of an impact on me as it did. But I'd like to recount my story of being a dad, being introduced to K-pop Demon Hunters. And to talk about that, since apparently I'm very much oriented with head gear relating to the media, let us don our towels and talk about K-pop Demon Hunters for a moment, shall we? There we go. Now I'm nice and comfy. You're like, Will, you have no hair. Why do you have this? I saw there's a content creator. He's at Your Korean Dad. I believe his name is Nick Cho. And he introduced to us how to make one of these, right? And so, that fracking cat, hope I didn't spoil the season for you too much. You'll enjoy it, trust me. So K-pop Demon Hunters. I have an 11-year-old daughter, so naturally, that is how I was introduced to K-pop Demon Hunters. And I had kind of watched it when she had watched it, and I'm like, okay, wow, the songs, they are pretty good. And now I'm going to tell you guys a story that I shouldn't be sharing. Because I admit that after seeing it a second time, I don't want to say I'm addicted or I'm hooked or obsessed, but I'm wearing this towel on my head. So take from that what you will. I had decided, okay, well, I haven't really given K-pop Demon Hunters a solid viewing. I haven't sat down and watched it. I don't really know how good it is. And I'm a person that likes to be distracted on flights. Sometimes I'm lucky and I could sleep, usually not so lucky. So I said, you know what, before I leave, I'm going to download K-pop Demon Hunters from Netflix onto my iPad Pro so I can watch it on the plane. because I figured perfect scenario. Noise canceling headphones, so I'm not going to have any issues hearing. The tinnitus in my ear isn't going to be too much of a bother for trying to listen to it. And I tell you what, I loaded that bad boy up probably 20 minutes into the flight, started watching it. Oh, no, Michelle. No. Up until the point we're discussing, I've only seen it twice. Okay? Since then, bear with me, okay? Let's stick a pin in that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I downloaded it to the iPad. I'm going to watch it on the plane. Again, got up at like 3:45 a.m. to make sure I was on a 7 a.m. flight. So I admit I'm tired. I'm going to use that as my excuse because I loaded that bad boy up, threw on some K-pop Demon Hunters, threw the headphones in, started watching. Now, mind you, you have to understand, I'm a guy who is entering the middle-aged stage of his life. And supposedly us Gen Xers get emotional. I was tired. I loved every single thing about this movie. If you have not seen it and you've been deterred by the title, don't be, okay? Do not be deterred by a title that sounds like a bunch of executives gamed together and just started throwing out terms. K-pop, Demon Hunters. Okay, yeah, let's run with that. No, this was a well thought out produced story. The songs are excellent. And there are even like little details in here that I like. The animation style is kind of a hybrid between what we got with Mitchell's versus the Machines and what we see in the Spider-Verse movies. It's its own thing as well. And the originality of the idea just kills me. It's like, no, you're here to save humanity, and you're going to bring everyone together, and you're going to do it through song. So the world's going to know you as pop stars. But no, you're mankind's salvation. Again, very tired. Watch the entire thing. And I'm not sure of the title song, but this is what it sounds like. Is that the song at the end? I should know this. I don't. I haven't been listening to the soundtrack. I'd rather just put on the movie. I kid you not. I've probably watched it like 20 times since then. It's what I put on now when I'm working, right? And I need something so I can track time so I'm not getting lost in projects, and something enjoyable. I don't really have to look at it, but you can definitely sit there and, like you got the shoulders going. Y'all know what I mean. The moment Rumi walks into the stadium, all marked up with patterns, the off-color eye, and she starts into that song, and then her voice and her song frees her compatriots, the two other, Zoe and Mira, the other K-pop Demon Hunters. They enter the stage. They're coming from this three-pointed stage that we've seen the entire movie, and suddenly they're each coming from a different direction to come together, right? To be a solidified, healed unit again. Kat, if you have hair and you've never worn your towel like this, look it up, bro. Extremely comfortable. That fracking cat, yes, watch the damn movie. Them coming together, that entire finale of the film, the third act, as they call it. There was a moment of realization I had, which is, I've really got to keep my shit together because I am not going to be crying to K-pop Demon Hunters and have people on this plane see me crying watching K-pop Demon Hunters. I was not successful. I did not pull it off. No. No, I was on Front Street with this. Everyone could tell. You, sir. You, my man. You are crying to K-pop Demon Hunters. I have no shame. I have no shame about this. None whatsoever. Mark Lamb encouraging me in chat saying, it's so well done. I'm with you, sir. Even though he ended it with a question mark, I don't know why you're questioning it. Mark. but it is what it is. Really, the music is great. The story is great. And I should have been on this like a month to a month and a half ago. And the reason why I should is because Kevin Smith does Fat Man Beyond with Mark Bernardin. And Mark Bernardin was talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. I hadn't seen it, so I did not really listen to what he said, and I wish I did. Because bringing this back full circle, working the wave, bringing this back full circle, as I was at Chronicon, in the green room, I had to walk up to Mark Bernardin and say, Mark, once again, I've slept on something when you told me not to. K-pop Demon Hunters. I have no idea why it works so well, but it does, which led into a 15-minute discussion just about K-pop Demon Hunters, our perspectives on it, being dads. Because really, it's got a lot of positive messages, which is be true to yourself. When you're having problems, talk about it with your friends. They can help you. A lot of good messages that you want young people, genderless, young people, to get that type of positive message in this world. As a parent, seeing something that's so captivating and entertaining that's delivering those messages, oh man. That is probably the reason why I was a blubbering idiot on the plane. Now I'm just an idiot wearing a towel. Then I was a blubbering idiot. I cannot believe how well this movie works, and I appreciate the fact that there are so many people that are also so protective of it. Like the director thinks that when it comes to it, she's really not all that hot with the idea of a live-action version, and that if we were to do a continuation, it probably would kind of be more of a prequel story about how the girls come together originally. So I could see that working, and it's a good way to tell the story. But man, oh man, look, if you're watching me on TikTok, you have more than likely somehow once stumbled onto and now have an entire feed of K-pop Demon Hunters. And it's with good reason. So if you've been staying away from it, do not. Because it is just good, solid, quality entertainment with song after song that are just an absolute bop. So, get on it. Yeah, Mark Lamb's bringing up, what's crazy is that Sony sold it so cheap. Yes, they did. But that's because they greenlit it and they had that commitment to it. And they were just looking to recoup money because, remember, we were in the pandemic. Like they didn't even know if this would ever get in theaters again, right? Would theatrical releases still even exist in a post-pandemic world? Or were we going to find Spirit Halloween stores occupying your local complex or having them rented out and taken over for horror films? Miranda, find somebody that has Netflix and see the damn movie, okay? Do it. I'm telling you, you'll thank yourself later. Guys, I got to tell you, that's pretty much been about it. If you wanted to see the things that I 3D printed, I'll just talk about these ones. And you don't have to guess what they are because it's really kind of obvious. I think Trent would have picked up on it too. But I will tell you that it's a dangerous thing that I've now discovered. So my big thing, obviously, I love audio. Okay, I like audio to be good. And if I'm putting out quality content, it means I want good audio. That means that eventually you wind up with something like this, right? You wind up with these tiny little portable microphones. And what you're seeing a lot of lately are people on the internet using these. Now, it's a clip microphone. Really, it's supposed to be used as a lavalier. But lavalier, functioning as a lavalier, you're still going to encounter some echo, some room noise. Obviously, I'm always talking right into this microphone. So you can tell I want the audio to be direct. By the way, has anyone noticed that Will Wilkins TWW right here? Just wondering. So on the microphone for those listening to the podcast. So you see a lot of people doing this, and they're either doing wacky things like attaching them to other things to use that as the microphone holder, or they're speaking into them like this, which is fine. It's okay to do that. You want good audio. I get it. You don't want to have to talk loud so your neighbors don't know you're making content. I get it. You're in a noisy environment and you want to make sure you're heard. I get it. My whole thing is this looks stupid. So I did come up with a solution, and I talked about it on a TikTok I did, or a video. I should just say on content because I post videos everywhere. Which, by the way, if you're seeing this on any of my socials whatsoever, please follow me on the others. Link in bio. You can do that there. So what I did was I came up with a solution. A very long story short, long, skinny microphone holder. Clips right in there. See, the clip fitting is perfect. It's nice. It slides right in. You just saw me fit it into this one. You throw it into there. Now you've got a real microphone. This thing looks like it could be announcing the bride and groom upon coming in or calling them out for their first dance. Plus, it's a little bit girthier, right? It doesn't have the length, but I'm more of a girth guy. Be cool. I really got to look up the name of the creator. I think it's Andrew, but the E is a 3. So I'm going to keep stealing your be cool, dude. I'm sorry. Flattery is the highest form of compliment. But this is just this is getting on, I'm going to say Bob Barker territory, but how many people remember the long, skinny microphone he used? Anyone? So it's just, I don't like the look of it. Okay. And here, you can tell me, man. Because what I'm going to get at about this being a problem is that once I realized, I can just 3D print my microphone holders. Well, then I realized I could do variety. Right? So I can, hey, you want to change it up? Sure, man. Let's change it up. What we'll do is where's the other one? My desk is a nightmare. It's a waking nightmare that I forever live in. Again, microphone holder. You're like, that's not the black one, Will. No, it's not. Because I realized I can 3D print these things in any color. That means I can buy as many microphone covers as I want, and I can just, like, what mood is hitting me? Do I feel like silver? Do I feel like a gradient that changes from black to red? I can have it. I can do whatever I want. But anyway, like you compare speaking into this. I don't know. This size, this grip, it looks more legit to me. Yes, it's still got a large bulbous tip. Be cool. But it works for me. I like this better. But now I also realize I can print up as many of these in as many colors as I want. I can do whatever I like, because I can. Everyone's like, now I've got the Price is Right stuck in my head. To which point I have to then say, if I can find it. Good luck getting that out of your head now. Yeah, right? That fracking cat liking the gradient version. So this is a dual color filament. It's just one color on one side, the other color on the other. But when it prints, it does some really cool things, kind of like this tiger striping that occurs. And plus, you can be sporting either one of these. I just got a new tricolor filament that's also very hot. So thanks for the coins, Mark. Really appreciate it, man. So obviously, this is what I 3D printed. This was the bad discovery I made. And I actually have more of, I got to go back to the first page, but I have more of.
What is my purpose?
And I'll give you guys a tease right now. The next time you see Trent here, you'll probably have already seen what it is and you'll know the purpose. Will he? We're not sure. We'll find out after the fact. So we got that to look forward to. Hopefully next week, Thursday, on All Hallows Eve, the 30th. That's what I'm hoping for. Because obviously not doing this on Halloween. And obviously want to do more. By the way, want to also give a special shout out, as we do every single episode, especially as we're wrapping things up right here, right now. Want to give a big shout out to our Patreon supporter of the week, Sean Dempsey. Sean Dempsey joined at the One Lover level. So now we have one person at the one lover level. That's right. On Patreon, you can support me, support our show, support creating new content and all like for as little as $1 a month. I don't even know what that works out to, per day. But, I'm not making content every day, so that doesn't matter. But Sean Dempsey, thank you very much. If you want to find out more, you can just go to netheadsonair.com or the link in the bio of just about anywhere here you see me. You go to thatwillwilkins.com. Same thing. What am I going as for this Halloween? Mark asked the question as we are wrapping up. Mark, I will tell you, I have kind of fallen the wayside on wearing like extravagant costumes, overly detailed costumes. I'm just answering the front door really now in costume. I'm not really dressing up for work. And last year, I even wore it at Chronicon. I've still got one up at the wall on the wall. Last year I picked up a Deadpool hoodie. So it's a hoodie that looks like Deadpool's helmet. I already had some black and red gloves. So I did that, and you remember I 3D printed a Deadpool helmet. So I wore that to do trick-or-treating. Now the problem is it's got heavy white mesh eyes. So the moment the light from the porch or overhead hit those lenses, I couldn't see a damn thing. So this year I have ordered, I don't know if it's going to arrive in time, but I have a Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine hoodie on the way. So I'm thinking I'm going to be Wolverine. It's very simple to 3D print the claws, so I might do that. And I think that's the direction I'm going to go. Because again, I'm just answering the door. And I've kind of set a precedent. A few years ago, I think I've always handed out candy in costume, but a few years ago, I was the Batman, followed by Deadpool and Wolverine. I can't remember what I did the year before, but the kids, there are some that do come back and they're like, oh, hey, weren't you this and this such last year? And I'm like, yes, I was. I will give you extra candy for this. Although I am tempted, by the way, because it's so cheap and because they do have a Halloween themed one, I don't know how to pronounce it. Mirachin, the ramen people, the ones that aren't Nissan, I think. They wrap them in the chicken flavored one in orange, and they have like Halloween theming on it. And I'm almost thinking I'm going to buy an extra container of that, like a pack, because my daughter eats ramen, loves ramen. So I'm going to probably have some of those. So that way when the teenagers that invariably come later in the night show up, they're not getting candy. They're getting ramen. Should I go with a vegan one? I don't know. I'm more of a chicken guy myself. We'll see. We'll make that determination. That fracking cat in the chat wants to know, are you the fun size or full size candy house? I have been the full size candy house, but I have also been the fun size. I've been both. I don't know what I will be doing this year. It depends on, I'm really kind of, I know it sounds crazy as the guy that just got a camera for one event, but I'm really kind of tracking expenses now. So I need to see what really is the right direction, because also I also really feel it's incumbent upon me to make sure I don't bring in candy that I would eat. So we'll see. You know what? I'll report back to you, Kat, on that one. Bear with me on that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much. Probably going to be Wolverine for Halloween. Don't know about the size of the candy. Jury's still out on the ramen. We'll find out. I just think it's a better idea for like teens, because it's like, because I don't know what it is, man, but every Halloween they show up late, right? And it's always the teens. So we're going to do that. But also, this is the weekend before Halloween, which means all of the Halloween decorations now need to go out. We had some light stuff, but I'm also, I'll have to shoot some video of it, because we'll see how it goes. I'm also going to be running every night, like the full Halloween display, including at least until, I don't know, whatever time would be reasonable, but there will be fog in my yard, no matter what, every single night. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you very much, guys, for joining me for this solo person rant. My wife, I think, adequately pointed out that she only listens to one podcast where it's only one person talking, and she would imagine it's pretty darn boring. And having lived through the experience, I'd probably agree now. But I appreciate every single one of you tuning in, listening. I appreciate every one of our Patreon supporters, including Sean Dempsey. Sean, you're the man. Or you're the they. I don't know what the pronoun game is anymore. But thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Until next time, my name is Will, and one way or another, I promise I'll be back soon.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodcast production.
Smodcast Podcast, using our mouths on you since 2007.
You know, the thing is, now that I reflect on it, why did I have so much headgear in this one? Why? Was it needed? No. Did it add value? No. You bet your ass I'm putting that towel back on now because that damn thing is way comfortable.